This is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbott.
Oh, hello.
Well, let's get back to it.
Kate, the Caribbean Queen, juggled 4 a.m. WhatsApps, organising everything from George's football matches to Charlotte's ballet lessons with a dazzling fashion show. Isn't she an absolute dream? The Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, that's Wills and Whatsit to you, have been seen parenting while on their tour around the Caribbean. Yeah, right. Kate has sported a variety of outfits from a white polo shirt and mink shorts. Wait, what? Mink shorts? That can't be true. She wore shorts made out of mink. Were they dead? I must have missed that picture. And I thought I'd seen all of them. Kate has sported a variety of outfits from a white polo shirt and mink shorts. She did not have mink shorts. I demand to see a picture of her in mink shorts right now. My glamorous assistant is on it straight away, if not sooner. For the first full day of events, Kate chose a fabulous midi dress from Tory Burch, £455, in a fun floral print, with white and red petals against a Belize blue. The fit was perfect, and with a smocked bodice, whatever that is. Those aren't mink. That's not mink, that's cotton. Mink shorts I'm after, as in fur. Well...
That's what they're calling the mink shorts.
But they're not made out of mink.
I don't make the rules.
Right. The fit was perfect, did you hear? With a smocked bodice, whatever that is. It sounds like something you'd see in the V&A. It had puff sleeves and a tiered skirt that stopped mid-calf. God, that sounds absolutely hideous. It's not surprising that this fail-safe summer dress... Like I said, it's a fail-safe summer dress. It's not surprising that this fail-safe summer dress sold out immediately afterwards. Kate completed her look with a striking pair of textile earrings from trendy label Cézanne. Not her usual delicate diamonds, but at £55, considerably more affordable. For those that have got the money. Actually free for those that can afford it. Very expensive for those that can't. I betcha. Did she actually pay for any of this clobber?
No.
Wouldn't think so. She finished the look off with Ray-Ban sunglasses, which seems a bit, I don't know, common? The Royal Suite at the San Ignacio Hotel in Belize has gorgeous jungle views and its own outdoor jacuzzi. But neither of these are much comfort when you're exhausted by jet lag and have your children's play dates to organise at 4 a.m. Oh, do me a favour. Who's paying for the Royal Suite at the San Ignacio Hotel in Belize, by the way? Biaz, I expect. Or is she on a freebie? For the Duchess of Cambridge, a mother's duties never end. I mean, it's good to start the day with a laugh, and it did give me a chortle, this ridiculous jaunt that they're on at the moment. I mean, it's the most tin-eared thing I think I've ever seen in my life. What are they doing? I don't know whether I can detect emotion through that cheesy grin that they have plastered on their faces 24 hours a day, but I do think that they might be dying inside, just a little bit. Do you think that they're as embarrassed doing it as we are looking at it? A mother's duties never end for the Duchess of Cambridge, as in Whatsit, out of Wills and Whatsit. So when Kate's jet lag kicked in during this week's Caribbean tour, seeing her wide awake in the middle of the night, I'm told, says a Daily Mail reporter, that she spent the time tapping WhatsApp messages, organising everything from George's football matches to Charlotte's ballet lessons and little Louis's bedtime routine back in the UK. Home life calls even, or perhaps especially, when on tour thousands of miles from home. Can you believe this? The world is about to end and there's no space online. The internet has run out of space because of a million pictures of Kate wearing just no end of... I mean, how many planes worth of clothes did they take with them? No, just a carry-on bag for me. Home life calls when they're thousands of miles away from home, apparently. An insider says they even ensure that their departure and arrival times fit around kissing the children goodnight or giving them breakfast. Their flight on the official RAF Voyager jet will get them back just in time for a nice Mother's Day lunch tomorrow. Oh, lovely. How much is this costing, by the way? To the nearest million. It's a new way to be working royals, and one that the couple have developed through learning lessons from the past. And blah, blah, blah. Oh, there's this bit at the end. The pictures of delighted audiences abroad and at home, the speeches, particularly when William referred to his profound sorrow over Britain's abhorrent past history of slavery, have been powerful. Or, as the Mail would have put it if it had been Harry saying it, this lefty, trendy, woke rewriting of history is an embarrassment to us all. They are absolutely demented. The Duke and Duchess of Cambridge are on a waving at natives tour to reinforce the royal brand in far-off places of simple, smiling folk. I mean, seriously, how tin-eared is this trip? They're getting about in millions of pounds worth of jewellery and dresses and hair and makeup, and Kate looks nice too. By the way, it might look as though it passes muster in a mirror, Wills, but that is seriously bad comb-over. I mean, why bother? They're being ferried about in a plane that an oligarch would covet, and a retinue of, well, everyone, to gain headlines and positive vibes for the next phase of the royal family. And while they swan about in enough luxury to sink a yacht, their subjects are being driven into poverty, can't turn on their heating, and rely on food banks for their dinner. And in another, not very far away place, people are being shot for queuing for bread, and children are being buried under the rubble of their own schools. This royal trip has got to be the most embarrassing thing that's come out of this country since we elected Benny Hill as our Prime Minister.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
I mean, and how's it been going for the toothsome twosome?
Fabulous.
They have been met with what you might call not overwhelming support, understandably. Get out of our country, they said. Give us back our money, they said. Where's Harry and Meghan? They said. I mean, seriously, can you imagine the stories in the press if it was Hazard and Sparkles that were taking a trip like this? The papers would be so furious, they'd explode. But instead they're printing page after page of, doesn't the Duchess look radiant? Here's a picture of her smiling, and here's another picture of her smiling, and another, and see our website for 86 million pictures of Kate smiling that we couldn't fit in a paper. In Jamaica there were protests, and the Prime Minister Andrew Holness furthered his campaign to become a republic. Not himself. Which, wouldn't have happened in the slave trading days when we'd have called them uppity slaves and had them shot. Still, I suppose that's progress, unless you're one of the people with the Union Jack next to your Twitter name, in which case you'd call those the good old days. But on a plus side, Kate wore a dress for each stop on the tour that matched the colours of the national flag, just as is normal for anyone from a foreign country to visit to oh, never mind, screwed that one up. Oh well. Better luck next time. I mean, how many dresses does she wear in the course of a normal day? Like 10? Is it one an hour? Every time the bell goes, there's another dress. On the eve of the Cambridge's arrival in the Bahamas, the island nation's National Reparations Committee called for millions of pounds to be paid in reparations for the British monarchy's role in slavery. What was called an incendiary letter read, "They and their family of royals and their government must acknowledge that their diverse economy was built on the backs of our ancestors. And then they must pay. We, the children of those victims, owe it to our ancestors to remember. We owe it to our ancestors to demand a reckoning and to demand accountability and healing and justice, which is the sort of talk that will get you put away for 10 years if you did it on the streets of this country. Causing a nuisance, I think." The Duke and Duchess may not be compelled to make such a declaration during their visit to our shores. They may not be able at this time to speak on behalf of the Queen and their government. However, They can no longer ignore the devastation of their heritage, said the letter. The committee said, we, the members of the Bahamas National Reparations Committee, recognise that the people of the Bahamas have been left holding the bag for much of the cost of this extravagant trip. Why are we footing the bill for the benefit of a regime whose rise to, quotes, greatness was fuelled by the extinction, enslavement, colonialisation and degradation of the people of this land? Why are we being made to pay again? Exactly. It's all pretty accurate, but doesn't stop the usual suspects from yelling about rewriting history, which is a phrase that means retelling something that happened that they don't want to hear about. And that's one of the big bills that the Royals land us with that is never considered or even acknowledged, by the way. The cost of painting everything, top to bottom, every time a Royal hoves into view. Absolutely everything will have been cleaned, polished and perfected for their royal fabulousnesses. And the finest foods and drink will have been sourced, and a parade of genuflectors will have been working their socks off for weeks, just so that everything's impossibly perfect. And you know what? The royal personage won't notice any of it, 'cause it's always like that wherever they go. Wills and Watson's Caribbean tour to mark the Queen's Platinum Jubilee, billed as a royal charm offensive, was beset with controversy and helped reignite Republican calls in Jamaica for complete independence from Britain. A royal charm offensive that's actually royally offensive to a large number of charming people that are being blessed by their presence, and you couldn't make it up. This out-of-touch extended advert for the royal family, which comes at vast expense to us poor dopes who pay taxes, might be the thing that really highlights what an anachronism the whole shebang is. And the thing I noticed was that the toothsome twosome seemed pretty embarrassed about what they were being asked to do. Am I wrong, or were their hearts not in it? There's blank behind the eyes. I mean, the smiles were fixed, all right. I mean, a better use of the money might have been to, reduce the cost of childcare in this country, which is the most expensive in the world, outside Switzerland and, weirdly, Slovakia. You want people to be able to raise a family and go to work to prop up the economy? Make childcare more affordable, fishy Sunak. But he doesn't do that because he's not into helping the poor, who only have themselves to blame that they didn't hire a nanny to take care of the children. I mean, all they had to do was marry a billionaire's daughter and they could have afforded it. Simples. 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nicka@lbc.co.uk. If you're on Twitter, it's at LBC. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbott, LBC.
This is LBC with Nick Abbott. Call 0345 6060 973. Tweet at LBC. Text 84850.
Well, the whole world's gone crazy.
Yes, the old bag is right. The whole world has in fact gone crazy. It's just our misfortune to be living on it while it did. Oh, well, never mind. It's just life. Last night's messages. There's a boatload. Steve texted, have the poor and the old ever been looked after by any government, and would we be better off if we had someone who is skint looking after the economy, or are they all rubbish and out to line their own pockets? I think they all talk a good game, but they soon lose touch with reality once they get a taste of power. Steve, can I interest you in punctuation?
No.
Apparently not. Well, that's an interesting concept. Let's look it up, shall we? One moment, please. I have detailed files. Aha! Yes, there's a graph, some with statistics on it.
Boring.
Total real growth in median equivalised household disposable income per period for non-pensioners after housing costs by income vingtile. Doesn't that sound interesting?
No.
Well, basically, it's how much did your income go up under various administrations based on how rich you are. And you will be unsurprised to learn that when Margaret Thatcher, which is how you say it if you went to university when I did, under her rule, under Margaret Thatcher, the poor got poorer and the very, very rich got spectacularly more rich. In 4 years, the richest people in the land increased their wealth by 37%. The poor, meanwhile, had a decrease in their wealth of 7%. So the poor got poorer and the rich got way richer, considerably richer than any other part of society. And the richer you were, the more you accumulated under Margaret Thatcher and then under John Major. But, and it's a huge, giant, wobbly but, in 1997, when Tony Blair came in, it all changed. And absolutely everybody got wealthier by about 12% between 92 and, wait, no, that's wrong. No, about 25%. When Blair came in 1997, the poor got the bulk of the money that was being chucked about. The poorer you were, the more likely you were to have increased your wealth between 97 and 2002 by 25%. So, once again, under Margaret Thatcher and John Major, the poor got considerably poorer and the rich got stratospherically richer. When Tony Blair came in, the poorer got richer and the richer and the richest had pretty much stayed the same. So, conclusions? Socialism. No, we don't want that. 0345 6060 973. So there it is. There's your answer, Steve. Yes or no, depending. Stefan texts, do you remember when Rishi met the two kids and spoke about Coke? Yes. Yeah, I like Coke, said Fishy Sunak.
Want to score some pot?
Which answers a lot of questions that we've been having about him. James texts, can't the poor people needing food banks just cash in on their 5% solar panel discount? Yes. Chris says, I watched Don't Look Up on your recommendation. My mind bounced between thoughts of how good the film was and how screwed we all are. Yes, that's absolutely correct. Don't Look Up. You should definitely watch it. It's funny and alarming at the same time. And does give a pretty accurate representation of where we are, where we are as a species, as in screwed. Mark says, I lent the Conservative Party my vote. Benny Hill promised me that he would honour it. How wrong was I? I wouldn't lend him my iron to press his suit. You think about that, Bodge?
Yeah. Wait a minute.
He's unimpressed. He's actually not listening. Chris says, imagine boarding a flight and seeing the captain trying to take off by standing on a wing making engine noises. That was Sunak trying to pay for fuel by placing his bank card on a Perspex screen. We're all doomed. Engine noises. Yeah, well done, Bodge. Very good. Did you go anywhere in your nice little car?
Peppa Pig World.
Peppa Pig World.
It has
Peppa Pig is the right answer.
Affirmative.
Very good. Jason says, did you see Sunak filling up someone's car with fuel? It was a revelation to him just to discover that you didn't chuck your car away when they run out of petrol. Oh, I've got detailed files on him. Him and his bazillionaire wife, who I believe he stated the other day he'd never met, or something like that. Oh, who? Nothing to do with me. Paul says, maybe if we pooled our money together, we could buy a Conservative MP to be on our side. Yeah. Yeah. I think they're about 10 grand now, aren't they? Holt. Where's that? Where's Holt, Mike?
It's North Wales.
Is it? Is it near Rhyl?
Oh, no. Right on the border with Cheshire.
Ah, I was there or thereabouts just last week.
Oh, right. In fact, the place I live in is part of an old school, and H.G. Wells taught here.
Did he?
Yep.
I went to Arley Hall, which must be nearish you.
Arley Hall.
Arley Hall. A-R-L-E-Y.
Doesn't ring any bells.
Right. Well, you want to get out and about a bit, mate. You never know. You might like it. It's lovely out.
It is lovely out. Well, I've just got back from the northeast, because that's where I came from.
Yes.
Anywho, The point I want to make is every cloud has a silver lining.
Does it?
Oh, that's kind of my philosophy.
Right, okay. So paint us the silver lining. Where's the silver lining in this cloud? Go on.
Well, the cloud is what we see.
The cloud is what we see, yeah.
No, the cloud is we went for Brexit. We were a major player at the European table. We're not now.
No.
The Commonwealth are turning their backs on us. The positive, I think.
Okay. This is the bit with the silver lining. I'm looking forward to this. Go ahead.
Yeah. No. We are going to suffer.
Oh.
I don't know for how long.
That's not the positive that I was looking for, but...
No. That's the cloud. We're going to suffer.
Right. But the positive is, the silver lining is, we actually like suffering in this country. Thank you, sir. May I have another?
No, please, hold on. That this, I hope, this will result in a significant culture change in this country.
From what to what?
From deference to royalty, from deference to power and money, where people, I really hope that the people of this country will see.
Stop the deferencing and make the moneying.
No. They won't do the deferencing and moneying. This country is filled with really good. I've worked in healthcare. I worked in healthcare from my early 20s. I'm 60 now. I'm retired.
60 years old.
Oh, thank you. There are so many good people. There are so many.
There's an average number of good people in this country compared to every other country in the world.
Okay. I suppose I tend not to mix with the top 1%.
The top 1% of nice people or rich people?
Oh, you monkey.
Mike, I have no idea what you're talking about. Do you?
What I'm trying to say...
At least one of us must know what you're talking about.
Okay. That my hope is...
Yeah.
That there's going to be a culture change in the deference to those in power.
Right.
That the people at P&Q...
You think that we are deferential to those in power in this country?
Subject to those in power. The companies like P&O can get away with what they want.
Well, the companies like P&O can get away with what the Conservative Party have written into law.
No, absolutely. And look at where they're getting their funding.
Sounds like the ghost of Elvis is on the phone.
Oh, behave.
Time's running out, Mike. Faster than you know.
Look at where the Tory party have got their money from. They're going to protect the oligarchs.
Well, they seem to have done an excellent job of that by flagging up ahead of time that they were going to sanction them so that the oligarchs could get their finances in order.
They've got time to get their money out. They're protecting their friends.
Yeah.
And my hope, the silver lining is that this, and it's going to be difficult, but this will result in people waking up to what has been going on for decades.
Yes, wake up, people. It's later than you think. Thanks a lot, Mike, for whatever that was. 0345 6060 973. Arley Hall in Cheshire. I think you'll find it's a delight. Their cafe is superb. I had a fabulous lunch there this week and wandered about the gardens, looked at the flora and the fauna. Well, not so much fauna. Although driving up there was sort of every 10 miles or so, there was some mammal, a squashed mammal by the side of the road. Weirdly, never in the road, always by the side of the road. So because presumably it got run over, and somebody had dragged it from the road to the side of the road, so every car that then followed didn't also run over it, because, that would just be cruel. That would be a cruel and unusual punishment. But I didn't see a single one in the road. They were all by the side of the road, by motorways. So either by running over them a lot, it gets propelled to the side of the road where it stays because it doesn't get run over anymore, or there's somebody patrolling motorways dragging dead mammals to the side of the road. What they actually were, I've got no idea. Bigger than a rat, smaller than a fox, something in between. An in-betweenie. 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nicka@lbc.co.uk. And by the way, I had a thought about wind farms. Don't let me forget to tell you about my thought about wind farms as I was driving up and down. Very, very important, as you can imagine. It's 10:30 on LBC, the news headlines with Serena Farrow.
Nick Abbott on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
I just want to tell you all how happy I am to be back in the studio, making a picture again.
It's a radio show, dear. Michael texted, this is from last night. I've got so many from last night to get through. I'm playing catch-up, like that bloke used to say on afternoon TV. The quiz show, where Europeans would come and answer questions in a language that wasn't their first language, English. And embarrassingly enough, usually beat the English contestants answering questions in their first language. Never mind. At least we're out of Europe now. We won't be embarrassed like that again. Michael texted, I'm 79. My latest government pension statement states that, quotes, age addition of 25p per week will be payable from your 80th birthday. Unbelievable, says Michael. 25p a week, eh? Well, you want to spread that wealth about a bit, Michael. Don't spend it all in the same place. Graham texts, when you have known a liar and a blusterer like BJ in charge of the country, it allows for people like the P&O Ferries boss to act the way he did this week. Despicable, but in no way surprising. A case of follow the leader. Yeah, of course it's not surprising. The Conservatives actually wrote into law the thing that made that happen. And then expressed collective surprise that such a thing might come about. Carol says, retrospective taxes like a windfall tax is not fair. Changing the rules after the game has kicked off cannot happen. It's not football, Carol. The reason that you can't afford your fuel is because the fuel giants have whacked up the price. Now, it's not necessary. They can survive without it. They're making so much money that the boss of one of them said that his company had been turned into a cash machine. A cash machine. They are rolling in it. So it's a false inflation. They could decide not to pass on those costs and make a little bit less themselves, but they don't, because we're desperate. So they whack up the prices and make a ton of money, which is what is happening. Of course there should be a windfall tax. We should strip them of all of the money that they are stripping us of. And anybody that says otherwise is just incorrect. If in France they can limit the increase in their fuel bill to 4%, 4%, not 40 or 400, but 4, then we can do that here. But we don't, for two reasons. One, we were stupid enough to sell off our gas and our electricity, and, for crying out loud, our water. Did you benefit from any of that? Of course not. It just disappeared, like it was a smash and grab raid. And the second reason that we're not going to do that is that because the Conservative administration is not remotely interested in helping the little people, not leprechauns. Max says, all I've ever known is a Labour or Tory government, and I've always been led to believe that to vote for anything else means that you're wasting the vote. So what's the alternative? And how the hell does a man who can't count his own kids run a country? Well, he's got people that can count for him.
And 1,
Yes.
2,
3.
11.
Oh, Struth. I think we're up to 11. 11 kids. You want to have another go?
And 1, 2,
2.
6 million.
6 million children, apparently. Bodger. 6 million. I was talking about vitamins last night and how it made my pee go luminous. I used to take one a day that was absolutely massive, and it had no effect on my health whatsoever because I stopped taking them after years. I just stopped cold with no effects at all, apart from my pee stopped. I couldn't use it as a nightlight anymore. It was glowing. Ricky says the cheapo vitamins will mainly consist of oxides, which the body cannot absorb, so go straight through you. But the more pricier ones from the health shop contains the good stuff, says Ricky. Ricky, I was buying the pricier ones from the health shop. They're all a bloomin' same. What are you talking about? Heather says, when Rishi was questioned about the price of bread yesterday, he said that he buys a seeded thing that is about £1.20, and it was £1 before. He then said that his family has several different types of bread in his houses. Houses. Rub it in, Rishi. Yeah, you know what? I don't believe you. Hey, Rishi. Liar! I don't believe that you buy bread, first of all, and I double with cream on top. Don't believe that you buy bread that costs £1.20 a loaf. Liar, liar, your tight suit pants on fire. £1.20 a loaf. Oh, please. £1.20 a slice, maybe. Let's have a call in. Who's been waiting the longest? One moment, please. Narberth. Jimmy.
Hiya, mate.
Jimmy.
Hiya.
Wow, it's all slowed down since you came on. Are you all right, Jimmy?
Yeah, not too bad, mate.
Great. What's up?
You were talking about Kate and William earlier.
Yeah, Wills and what's it? Mm-hmm.
Wills and whatever the
What's
name
it?
is, Kate.
Yeah, whatever it is, yeah.
And the bits and pieces I saw...
I thought you were dying just for a moment. I was going to ring the ambulance.
I got the impression that they're somewhat trying to fight a rearguard action.
How do you mean?
They know the monarchy its days are numbered.
I think that they were just going through the motions. It looked to me... Now, I didn't actually see the moving images. All I saw were the pictures, and it looked like they were dead behind the eyes to me. Like they didn't want to be doing this. Their toes were curling. It's catching, Jimmy. Now you got me like I'm being strangled. Wait a minute.
Well,
it looked like they were dying behind their eyes to me. Let's
go back a bit in history to the
go back, way back,
of the
back
monarchy.
into time. Yes.
Do you hear me?
What?
Can we go back and talk about the restoration of the monarchy?
The restoration of the monarchy?
After Cromwell.
Oh, God, no. History lesson. Boring. Oh, please, no.
Whether it's true history or it's been subverted, we don't know. But, I mean, when the monarchy was offered to people, there had to be terms and conditions.
Yeah, always read the terms and conditions.
Yeah. And the monarchy, while trying to make the country feel good and safe, and
the monarchy are trying to make the country feel good and safe.
Yeah.
Are they?
No, not now.
Not now. No, of course not. Not now.
The people in charge, the mandarins. I mean,
there used to be a Mandarin in charge of America.
Oh, shut up!
But that's another matter entirely.
Yeah, of course it is. But the Queen is very blameless because she's been indoctrinated from childhood as to what her duties are. But if we look back at recent history, the suffragettes and miners' strike on Hillsborough.
All of those things are historical moments, yeah,
And
that
the
is true.
bean field. What do you know about the bean field?
Bean field, they grew beans.
Yeah, and British...
It's my second favourite field, by the way, the bean field.
Stonehenge, you know, when the travellers were heading for there. And,
Stonehenge. It was 1982. The Stonehenge Festival went there straight after Glastonbury.
Groovy.
It was like walking into Mad Max. It was berserk there. I've never seen anything like it before or since. Stonehenge Festival right after Glastonbury.
Yowza.
1982. What a year. Were you there, Jimmy? Because if so, that would explain a lot.
I better qualify myself here now. I've met plenty of good and honest policemen, but the institution is rotten to the core.
Jimmy, you're all over the place. We need an A to Z to figure out where this conversation is going.
Well, you can go anywhere you want.
Anywhere you want. Right. How about screeching to a halt?
How about what?
How about we bail out? How about we just leap overboard of this conversation and just hope for the best? Are you with me?
Do that then.
Okay. All right. Thanks a lot, Jimmy. Very cooperative. Very cooperative person.
Thank you.
0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nicka@lbc.co.uk, and if you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Does anything on this show make sense so far?
No.
This is LBC.
This is LBC with Nick Abbott.
I really like you. Do you like me?
Yeah, sure. Why not? On the subject of luminous urine, Jack texts, the fact that your urine is luminous from having eaten a multivitamin that was the size of a wagon wheel. He says the fact that your urine is luminous means that you're right. What do you mean? He says multivitamins can be a great way to get the important stuff in your system, but if you eat healthily and have a good diet, they aren't necessary and will just flush out, causing a glow party every time you spend a penny. Oh, it was way more expensive than that. I think that is probably true. It doesn't make any sense to me that a multivitamin can do any good. Because it's in a pill. I mean, your body's not going to... How can you use it? Like goodness that comes in a pill. Eat well is how you get vitamins and minerals and such. John says, regarding the soon-to-arrive unbelievable fuel bills that are due to arrive on the doormats of the starving poor, what do you propose they do with them? This will, of course, only be a problem for those who have survived hypothermia this winter. That's a very cheery text. Thanks, John. Northwich. Alice.
Yes. Hello,
Alice.
Nick.
Alice.
Yes. I live near Arley Hall.
Ah.
Beautiful place.
Lovely.
Yes. Been there many times. Did you enjoy it?
I did, very much so. It was a little too early because almost no plants had burst open yet.
Oh.
So there was not a tremendous amount to look at, but lunch was lovely.
Oh, good. Did you go to the woods?
Yes.
Weren't there many plants open there?
There was a magnolia tree, which was absolutely... In fact, I tweeted a picture of it. It was clear blue skies, and it was like pink and yellow and green and blue. It was really, really nice.
Good, yes. And delicious food and very nice people, aren't they?
Well, let's not get carried away.
Why not? I mean, I think it's just I know them all so well, and I just think they're always so very friendly and helpful and everything.
Everybody behind the counter there was just lovely.
Yeah, they do a lot of filming there, you know. Were they filming?
No, they weren't, no.
They do a lot of filming there.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
Peaky Blinders.
Oh, I've never seen Peaky Blinders. Is it any good?
No, I haven't. I haven't either, but I know it's supposed to be very well known.
Yeah.
And Disney stuff as well.
Disney?
They do. Yes, they do. Yes, they have people from all over.
MICKEYMOUSE.
Yeah.
Disney.
Yeah, they have people. I mean, it's just. I just think it's lovely all the year round. You should come back in the summer when The herbaceous borders are in flower.
Alice, I plan to do just exactly that. They're going to have an exhibition in conjunction with the White Cube Gallery of all sculptures outside. It will be great.
Yes, yeah. Anyway,
that's it.
I'm very glad you enjoyed it.
Well, I tell you what, Alice, I'm glad I enjoyed it, and furthermore, I'm glad that you're glad that I enjoyed it. That sounds like a perfect circle to me. Thanks a lot, Alice.
Yeah.
Cheers, my dear.
Thanks.
Ta-da. 0345 6060 973. Will, these are all from last night. Will texted, lettuce matters. If it wasn't for a slice of lettuce in a burger, some people wouldn't eat any veg. Well, there is, of course, the gherkin.
Disgusting.
There is the gherkin. Stephen texts, how many more of these to go? Oh, look, I'm almost at the end. And then I can start on the ones tonight, of which there are a boatload already. Stephen texts, I'm going to collect all the files that come into my house not files, flies. I'm going to collect all the flies that come into my house this summer and sell them down the market. Pretty soon, flies will be the only form of protein most Brits will be able to afford. I think that what's about to happen to this country, and the world in general, is unconscionable. It's absolutely awful what's about to happen. I mean, it's not going to be like the 1970s. It's going to be worse than that, because at least there was a sort of a slow fade-in to the misery of the 1970s. This has just slammed into us out of nowhere. I bet people thought we got away with it, with that whole COVID thing. And the COVID thing, and then there was the Brexit thing, and not much really seemed to happen, economically speaking, did it? But I did think that we were in a state of suspended animation, and that the consequences of going through all that hadn't actually hit us yet. But they will. They're about to. They're hitting us right now, in fact. Paul tweet. Still, I mean, at least we're all about to die in World War III. So, at least there's that. Forthcoming attractions. Paul tweets, can you imagine what Johnson must think if he decides to sit down on his sofa with a glass of wine on a beautiful spring evening to relax and listen to LBC at about this time on a Friday? I imagine he doesn't do anything of the sort, do you, Bodge?
Yeah. Wait a minute.
No, I expect he's not listening to this. I expect he's got people who do that for him, who are making notes.
Oh, no.
Joanne texts, do the people of the UK know that Boris is the laughing stock of the world stage? Laughing stock of the world stage? What on earth makes you think that?
I can't comment on that.
Blah, 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 blah. So those are the texts and such from last night. I'll get into the new ones in a minute. Dartford. Hello, Claire.
Hello, Nick.
Claire.
Hi. Yeah, I want to touch on the P&O ferry disaster.
Oh, yeah.
I don't understand quite why people are making the fuss that they are. I understand the actual people that lost their jobs, yes. But very slowly, over the last 20 years, companies have been not exactly hiring and firing and rehiring, but actually rewriting people's terms and conditions of employment.
Yeah, and if you don't like it, then there's the door, kind of thing.
Yeah, and making them force a way down, wages.
Yep.
Lots of 0 hours contracts, part-time jobs that people are supposed to be able to live on, whereas part-time jobs traditionally were what the housewife did to give a little bit of extra money.
Yeah.
Because men's jobs just don't pay enough because
all of the wealth that is created by the little people, not leprechauns, goes straight to the top. It's like they're like a sponge, and everybody beneath them gets nothing.
Exactly. No trickle down whatsoever.
There is no such thing as trickle down economics.
No.
It does not exist.
Well, there used to be when I was working. When I worked for a large pharmaceutical company, and we were quite well paid.
Right, but that's not trickle-down economics. Trickle-down economics is where you just give the super rich tax breaks in the expectation that their wealth will trickle down onto the rest of us. But it doesn't. It trickles out into a tax haven and just sits on a computer screen somewhere.
Well, what I mean is the company I worked for they looked after their employees
Right.
well.
Well, companies
They had
used to do that.
a proper pay structure.
Yeah, back in
and-
the 1960s, this is off the top of my head now, but it's there or thereabouts. The average wage, the CEO of a corporation, like a FTSE 100 corporation, would earn about 40 times the average wage of the people who work in that company. About 40 times, 40, which is, it's a lot. It's not doing too bad. You get to the very, very top of the tree and you're making a lot of money. You've probably got a house in Chelsea.
Yeah.
These days, the CEO of a FTSE 100 company earns about 300 times the average wage of the people that work in their company. So they have got a house in Chelsea and a house in the south of France and probably a flat in New York and a boat sitting off the coast of Nice.
I mean, I don't begrudge these CEOs the money if they're worth it.
But right, okay. If they're
they
worth
know
it,
what they're doing.
right? But in many cases they don't any more than anybody else does.
No,
they're not
exactly.
geniuses. They're not like
and
a different
it's the little
species.
people that make the wealth for the companies.
Exactly.
And I just don't know any other country in the world that the government insists on forcing people out to work for
Peanuts.
absolutely poor pay, and then introduces universal credit, so they're topping up. Then the employer doesn't pay anymore because they don't have to commit to paying the extra national insurance.
There is another country, Claire, that treats its people in exactly the same way, and the wealth is distributed in pretty much the same way. The top 1% get like 99% of the wealth that's created by the bottom 99%, who get to just about get by. They live from paycheck to paycheck, and if they miss a paycheck, then they might just be so poor as to get chucked out their house. Keeping them in a constant state of desperation and poverty, but just giving them enough to stay alive. There is another country, and it's where we're going, America. It's the USA.
Yeah.
That's where they treat their
the good
people.
old US of A.
Right, and they sell it to the people as this is what you could be. Look at this millionaire. You could all be millionaires. All you got to do is work hard and not tax millionaires, because you might eventually be one of those people. But the possibility of that happening is close to zero. If you weren't born rich,
like they just want to purge the disabled, the vulnerable, and the pensioners. They just, as if the COVID virus didn't get enough of us.
Right.
Where they completely failed us. I mean, we're an island, for goodness sake. You just close the borders down. I mean, with swine fever, mad cow disease, all sorts of animal things, you just close your borders. You don't let the stock in or out.
Well, this is a government that was elected on the basis of their ability to close our borders, but they seemed to fail in that regard when it came to the big C. Yeah. Thanks a lot, Claire. 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nicka@lbc.co.uk. If you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbott.
This is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbott.
Hello. And I can't stand him.
0345 6060 973. It's going, we're going to lose an hour, but we don't care about that because it's going to be light out. I can't wait. Don't get me started on that whole clock thing. I did all that last night. Nicole texts, mink is a colour. Yeah, I was wondering about What's It out of Wills and What's It. She was apparently reported as wearing mink shorts, which I thought, that's asking for it, that is. I'm thinking of penning a letter of complaint myself. But mink is apparently a colour. Is it? What colour is it? Mink? I've never heard of a colour called mink. Sheila texts, as the clocks go forward an hour, does this mean that we have you on for an extra hour? That would be great, says Sheila. No, Sheila. And it wouldn't. Joanne says, I bet she didn't wear a bacon dress like Lady Gaga. No, I don't think she did, no. Ephra says, my Uber driver has been playing LBC since I got into the car about 15 minutes ago and now has changed it to Club Classics. I'm upset. I love a bit of LBC, he says. Oh, those Club Classics. That would just be, I think it would be a little bit annoying, though, if you were in a car and you couldn't quite hear it, because you'd have to have it up loud. If it's speech in the background, then that's just kind of annoying, isn't it? Like music in the background is okay because you can just kind of ignore it, but you can't ignore speech. It just becomes irritating. You have to have it up loud so you can actually hear what the person is saying, even if it's as inconsequential as this show. T-text: newspaper journalists are not fashion journalists using exaggerated descriptions to describe overpriced garments worn by Kate. Fashion journalists. Fashion journalists. What is a fashion journalist when they're at home? If I was a woman, I would be, and there's no evidence to suggest that I'm not. If I was a woman, I'd be offended by women's magazines. Women, why do you put up with that flim-flammery that they stick in women's magazines? Still, it's, what year is it? 2019, and still they're producing paper-thin stuff like that. But men's magazines are all about doing things, climbing mountains and getting abs and brewing your own beer and, stuff like that. Driving cars, like car drivers. Yes, Boris. And women's magazines are all about how to, your avocado face mask will get you more sex. More sex with more eyelash extensions. More sex with this season's new cardigans. It's just so. Blah. It's embarrassing, is what it is. I don't know why you put up with it, women. Why do you put up with it? Paul texts, when those royals grin, why do they look as if they're... Well, that's just rude, Paul. Why do they look... he says, when those royals grin, why do they look as if they're passing solids? I don't know, Paul. Shane says, Meghan Sparkles is killing the planet by eating avocado, while Kate Middleton is literally wearing dead mink shorts. And they did find a way to... what? I did predict the future last week because Wills and Whatsit were on their, their big tour, and they were greeted by cheering locals. They said, hip hip! Boo! And I said that the press are going to find some way of blaming it on Harry, or specifically Meghan. And they did. The reception that Wills and Whatsit got in the Caribbean was all Meghan's fault. Thanks a lot, Meghan. See what you've done? Even though you were thousands of miles away at the time. Doug says, what's the weather like today? I don't know, Doug. Look out the window. What are you asking me for? Is this mouse loud enough, by the way? Kenny texts, if William can think he can float around dressed as Tom Cruise from Officer and a Gentleman, he can think it again. Sanction the royals now. You're too late. They've got all their money in Panama, apparently. Lucy says, when are the royals giving a home to Ukrainian people in one of their 797 spare bedrooms? I think that's probably accurate. I would expect that they actually do have 797 spare bedrooms, and you're not just exaggerating for comic effect. I mean, how many rooms has Buckingham Palace got? The Queen doesn't even live there anymore. She never liked it in the first place. Let's put Ukrainian people in there. I mean, we can put all her knickknacks in storage. Sue says, did you see Kate and Wills shaking hands through a fence in Jamaica? Yes. Yes, I did. Yeah. Embarrassing, no?
Yes.
Little bit. Westminster. John.
Oh, hi, Nick.
John.
You're my favourite presenter.
Thanks.
Yeah, you know what? Are you talking about economics and all that?
Was I?
Economics.
Economics?
Yeah, about the government.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I think?
I hesitate to ask.
I think, that people would turn around and say, "No, man, it's not worth going into work anymore."
Who would turn around and say that?
I just claim benefits.
Right, who would say that?
The people that are being crippled by the government with the money, with the bills.
Wow, it's like E101, this show, isn't it?
No.
It's like an economics lesson in happening right now. I hope that you're taking notes, people.
Yeah. Have you noticed something? Nick?
Well, I've noticed at least one thing. Go on.
Ever since some Twin Towers collapsing in New York, right, we've had all these problems, one problem after another.
I almost spewed coffee onto myself. One problem after another, you say? Yes.
Yeah, have you noticed ever since 2001?
No, I haven't noticed.
One
But
problem after another.
no, I've been mostly drunk since then.
Booze.
I haven't noticed a thing.
Oh, well then. I don't know then. I can't answer your
No,
prayer.
you can't answer my question. But I didn't pose a question in the first place, so I think we are in perfect harmony. I didn't ask a question, and you can't answer it, even if I did. Excellent work there, John. Thanks for whatever that was. George tweets, the only thing more vomit-inducing than Russian state propaganda is that produced by the right-wing English press when they're gushing over favoured members of the royal family. Well, Russian state propaganda was plastered all over the front page of one of our excellent newspapers in this country. Boris Johnson is Russia's enemy number one, it said. Are we really expected to believe that? Oh, please. Caroline says, yeah, but why hasn't she worn a Union Jack dress with a big hat that says Brexit on it yet? So unpatriotic. Exactly. Yeah. I bet she was wearing, at least for some brief moment, yellow and blue on the same outfit. No! That's pretty unpatriotic to me. How loud is this mouse, by the way? Phil texts, how is it that P&O can afford £36.5 million in severance payments, but can't afford to pay those same staff a living wage? Excellent question there, Phil. And that, again, is advanced economics. I've got no idea. I suppose they're looking to the future. They might pay £36.5 million in severance this year, but imagine how much money they'll be saving by this time next year. Huge. Oh, those bonuses will start rolling in for those people in the C-suites. I betcha. This is our future. You know the free ports that they keep banging on about? Oh, thank goodness we've left the European Union. Now we can have free ports in this country. Forgetting the part about the fact that we actually had free ports in this country before when we were in the European Union. Yeah, there's a small detail about us having already had free ports in this country when we were in the European Union, and other countries in the European Union also having free ports, so it has absolutely nothing to do with leaving the European Union. You know, there's just a small detail about that. But over and above that, that's what the free ports are going to be for. Stripping workers of their rights and making us all into wage slaves. Giving us just enough to keep us alive so we can come to work the next day. We don't fall into a coma or freeze to death. That's what free ports are about. If you think that free ports are about benefiting the little people, not leprechauns, then I have a genuine made-in-China Rolex watch I'd like to sell you. What am I bid? Gold is green. Hello, Daniel.
Yes, hello?
Daniel.
Yeah, how you doing?
Great, mate.
Yeah, all right. Well, I just wanted to give you an informed lesson on the unfortunate circumstances where the UK is going with Boris Johnson because he's being way too anti-Putin right now.
Wait a minute. Wait, hang on, back up. Boris Johnson is being anti-Putin.
Well, anti-Putin, anti-Russia. Why do you have to be so vocal about being against the biggest superpower? Because it's a populist opinion to be against it.
I know. I mean, what has Vladimir Putin ever done wrong?
Well, he's done a bit wrong, but I mean, it's not that wrong. At the end of the day, he did warn NATO not to go ahead for 30 years.
That's right. He said,
Warning.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
he did say that.
at least he
And
gave us a
everyone took
warning
it as a
before
joke,
he
and now
killed
he's,
300 children in the bottom of a theatre. But, apart from that,
come on,
he's
everyone,
great.
big deal. So UK
Big
bombed
deal. There are only
150,000 people in
300
Dresden.
children. Yeah, I know.
And
Who cares?
150,000 people in Dresden? You
Of
didn't have a problem with
course.
that?
Yeah, who cares?
You didn't answer me. Did you have a problem with 150,000 people in Dresden?
No,
Carpet
of course
bombing in
not,
the
Daniel.
50s?
The more dead people, the better, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, exactly. So we didn't have don't bring your, a moral, 300 people dead
Daniel,
children. Okay,
I
great.
applaud the more death, the better, as far as I'm concerned.
right,
You're not actually
sarcasm
listening to me.
overdose.
You're
Do
just
you wanna get into
expecting
a
what
proper
I
conversation or not?
what
Do you want
I
to get in a conversation or not?
with you. Not. Daniel spends most of his time on the Daily Mail comment section under any story. Just pick one, and he'll be there. He'll have a Union Jack next to his Twitter handle. Back under your bridge, troll. Phil texts, how is it that PN... Oh, no, I read that. Rich says, you talk about the whole world smelling of fresh paint. Well, I once worked on a project where we had to build a completely brand new toilet just in case the Queen wanted to go while she was on a royal visit. It never got used. What my bid? I've read that before, that Her Majesty, well, I think Charles, Charles, he has his own toilet seat taken with him, just in case, to avoid the royal buttocks touching some material where others have touched before. Get that last bloke back. I want him we'll do a double header every week. He was great. GRATE. 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nick@lbc.co.uk. If you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbott, LBC.
Leading Britain's conversation. LBC with Nick Abbott.
This is absolute tosh.
Correct, Mundo. Diane texts, Rishi Sunak is too politically immature to be Chancellor, promoted too quickly. I think he's just ordinarily immature. He does come across a bit like a child, doesn't he? He actually comes across like a puppet you'd see in a children's television programme. Well, he's tiny for a start. He's about the size of a hand puppet. And he's also got this sort of squeakiness about him. Yeah, like he's not a real human being. I don't know what we've done to deserve this, but it must have been really awful. I wish I could remember it. Aberdeen. Hello, Daniel.
Hi, Nick.
Daniel.
Great show tonight.
Thanks.
I want to talk about a couple of things. Roadkill and this rotten government.
Right.
First of all, roadkill. I think they're at the side of the road because they're being... The cars are colliding with them rather than running over them. And it could be people picking them up and setting them aside.
Not on the motorway, though. Really? I mean, if somebody went to the trouble of picking them up on the motorway, don't you think it would be a person in authority from the, like a council person, and they'd take them away rather than just leave them in the what's that lane that they're getting rid of on the
hard
left?
Shoulder.
The hard shoulder. Yeah, they wouldn't just leave it on the hard shoulder. Well, maybe they're badgers, because I kept passing signs that saying, watch out, badgers about.
Warning, warning.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's about that size, but they were sort of brown, like a sort of a squirrel colour, sort of a browny grey, smaller than a proper dog, a little larger than like a handbag dog.
Oh. The mystery animal.
Yeah, but there was quite a lot of them. Like I must have passed at least a dozen of them. Poor things. Flat.
Oh.
Are you going to be okay?
Get a little defibrillator for them.
Huh?
Get a little defibrillator to revive them.
A little defibrillator. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Give it mouth to mouth if necessary.
Could I talk a bit about this government?
Go on then.
Well, I listened to the spring budget statement the other day, and it's just nothing. nothing for the people that are struggling.
No. Well, the people that are struggling, I know I pointed this out yesterday, but it's the people that are struggling are the precise demographic that voted overwhelmingly Conservative at the last general election. And as I have been told 1,000 times, they knew what they were voting for.
No, they didn't.
Well, they keep telling me they did.
They're deluded.
Oh, is that it?
No,
I thought you were going to give me a list.
I was pausing for you to respond.
Right. They're deluded.
Correct.
Yeah. Well, they believed Boris's sort of Brexit spiel.
Mm-hmm.
And they somehow believed that their lives were going to improve.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
much like Brexit, they were just sold a pup.
Right. How's Brexit going, by the way?
Fabulous.
Yeah.
It's this government and Brexit are a complete disaster.
Pretty much. Even there's a report out today. Shall I get into it? Oh, I don't know if I can be
Go
bothered.
on then.
Oh, okay then. All right, well, leave it with me. Excellent work there, Daniel. Thanks a lot, mate. 0345 6060 973. UK goods exports have underperformed the rest of the world, as in everywhere, in what experts said was a sign that Brexit might be limiting the country's trade performance.
Oh, no.
The volume of UK goods fell 14% in the 3 months to January. Goods exports from this country fell 14% compared with the same period in 2020 before the pandemic. That's according to the World Trade Monitor published by the big long names. This was in stark contrast to the global average of 8.2% rise over the same period. So those numbers again, 14% reduction in this country over the 3 months to January of goods exported, 14% down, global average 8.2% rise. So we've done really badly compared with everywhere else in the world. The data, which incorporates the Office for National Statistics data from the UK, showed that Britain compared I don't know what's wrong with me. Britain compared poorly with the performance of all, as in all, advanced countries, where goods exports rose 5%. We went 14% down, all advanced countries 5% up, global average 8.2% rise. We went 14% down. The analysis also showed that the UK was underperforming over the long term, as it was the only country where goods exports remained below the 2010 average. The only country in the world. While most other advanced economies have seen a strong recovery in trade, UK exports remain below pre-pandemic levels, said an expert, a professor of economics at King's College London. This week, the Office for Budget Responsibility warned that the UK trade, quotes, lagged behind the domestic economic recovery and had missed out on much of the recovery in global trade, suggesting that Brexit may have been a factor. It's the gift that keeps on giving, no?
No.
The OBR said none, as in 0% of the new free trade agreements or other regulatory changes announced so far would be sufficient to have a material impact on its forecast for UK trade. How is Brexit going at the moment?
Oh, fabulous.
Dismal. Which is why Smug has farmed out trying to find some positive to readers of The Sun, for crying out loud. While he relaxes on a bench somewhere. Splays himself over a bench. It's estimated that leaving the EU would result in total UK imports and exports being 15% lower. That's exports and imports, lower, 15% lower than if Britain had remained part of the EU. Oh, well, never mind. It's just money. Who cares? And it goes on and on and on. Painful. We've been dragged into this just so a couple of billionaires can continue avoiding paying tax. That's the reason that we've left the European Union. And we were persuaded to do it because sovereignty or patriotism or... Even now, years later, people still can't put their finger on exactly what it was all about. You ask them what benefits have there been from leaving the European Union, and that's exactly what they'll say. They'll say, freedom. Even Smug said that the other day. He was quizzed, I think it was on this station, by Andrew Marr. He said, well, of course we've got our freedom back and our sovereignty. Peering over his spectacles at Andrew Marr he was. Snodland. David.
Good evening.
Yes, sir. Doesn't Snodland sound like the kind of place that Jacob Rees-Mogg would come from?
You're better informed than I am. I don't know anything.
Yes.
It might be, yeah. It's quite a quirky little village here near Maidstone.
Snodland. It sounds awful.
Yeah, actually, I've actually Googled it, and snod means flat.
Right.
But it's not flat here.
But it's not flat.
No.
Is it the kind of thing like Greenland and Iceland to, give the enemy the swerve?
Well, who knows?
They'd think Iceland sounds terrible. Let's go to Greenland instead. Whereas Greenland is covered in ice and Iceland is covered in. I've got no idea. It's covered in.
Well, it's covered in green.
It's covered in in geysers.
Exactly. But anyways, Andy, the reason I've rung you tonight, and you're the person who answered the phone to me by name, so quite fantastic.
Did you by the way, did you just call me Andy? An echoing silence.
Did I get it wrong?
I'm not Andy. Oh, he's called the wrong bloke. He's probably called the wrong station. Who are you calling? I will